We come back to politics and the presidential race. As it has been for months, Ohio is the battleground of battlegrounds. Romney trails the president in the polls, but has kept the contest for the Buckeye State close. He needs it more. His path to victory is easier if he can take Ohio. Should the Republicans lose it, they would need to capture most of the other battlegrounds tomorrow. But both candidates want it badly. I spent the final weekend of the campaign around the capital city, Columbus, to see how it was all coming to a close. With its neat lawns and pretty houses, it doesn't look anything like a war front. But to the Obama and Romney campaigns, the Franklin County suburb of Upper Arlington, just outside Columbus, is one of thousands of political battlefields that have been carefully marked out in every corner of Ohio.
Oh, there's one left, two left.
In each one, the infantry consists mostly of volunteers, like retired Vietnam veteran, now computer programmer Jeff Johnson.
Our goal is to turn out all those who we haven't contacted recently to make sure they've either voted early, voted by absentee ballot, or going to vote on Tuesday. Will you be supporting Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan this coming election?
Johnson, a loyal Republican, has been on the front line canvassing his neighborhood since early September and says there's a big difference from the 2008 campaign.
Significantly more intense. I think people are very unhappy with the present situation. They're worried about taxes, they're worried about the future, they're worried about the deficit.
How'd you do? Pretty good.
A mile and a half away in another part of Upper Arlington, the Obama infantry is reporting back to base, the home of attorney Wanda Carter, a neighborhood team leader since May, who for the last 4 days of the campaign has a new title, Staging Location Director. Hers is one of 860 across the state.
We have more volunteers than we need for tomorrow.
Like Jeff Johnson, Wanda Carter is clear about her and her team's mission. She also sees a difference from 2008.
There's more enthusiasm rather than less. I mean, it was very exciting in '08, very exciting. And I think now that we know who our president is and what he's willing to do for us and how he's willing to fight for us, that we are even more excited about getting him reelected.
If you want to know President
If there is more intensity and a flood of negative ads from both sides on TV, Wanda Carter says Obama supporters going door to door are encouraged to be the positive face of the campaign.
We're not just gathering numbers. We do keep track, of course, but the real goal that we canvassers have is to have that personal touch with the person that answers the door, and to show them that, you know, how we feel about the president and why we want the president to be reelected.
To counter the more sophisticated, detail-heavy Obama field operation that was started earlier,
all right, we're ready to bring him that victory.
There's an energy on the Romney side that's lifting outreach well beyond what it was 4 years ago.
We've knocked on 20 times more doors than they did in 2008, and we've made twice as many phone calls. That's hundreds of thousands of people we've spoken to, left information for, collected data on. A lot of those were independent swing voters, and we've identified a lot of people that Republican campaigns might have missed in the past. If you look at these counties back in '04 and '08.
Scott Jennings, who took over Romney's Ohio campaign in the summer, ticks off county after county where he expects Romney to do better than John McCain did in 2008.
Overall, you'll see that we were outspent, but I think that's what makes Mitt Romney's resurgence here even more remarkable.
Head-to-head, the Obama campaign has spent more, but after adding in tens of millions of dollars from outside political action committees, so-called super PACs, Romney's side has the overall money advantage.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm with Americans for Prosperity.
One of those outside groups, Americans for Prosperity, funded by conservatives, including the mega donor Koch brothers, has sent a small army of its own into Ohio to help get out the vote.
We drove from Columbia, Missouri yesterday. Took us about 9 hours with a few stops. This morning we hit 600 houses, and this afternoon we probably hit about 20 or 30 houses. Not everybody was home, but enough people were home that we were able to spread the word.
You all will have door knockers?
For their part, Democrats are counting on traditional parts of their political coalition. organized labor, and the African American community.
We're going to be working straight through Election Day.
AFL-CIO National President Richard Trumka showed up in Columbus over the weekend to cheer on canvassers.
Mitt Romney said let Detroit go bankrupt. That would have meant let Ohio go bankrupt as well. President Obama didn't do that. He stepped in, he helped them. We're hiring right now in Ohio.
I'm a fellow Hilliard resident myself.
Electrician and IBEW member Jason Moyne says GOP moves in Ohio to weaken collective bargaining have both motivated organized labor and taken a toll.
It's been a little bit tougher. Everybody's kind of had enough, quite frankly, and so we're hoping to get our message out this year and deliver a blow that will sustain and help us not have to fight these fights continuously, year in and year out.
Lord, you are good and your mercy endures. Another large outreach effort for the president has been launched by African American churches. Yesterday, they worked their Souls to the Polls initiative to get their members to vote on the next to the last day of early voting. Lori Elmore was one of the organizers.
Because of all of the stopgaps that have been put in place and all of the ways to try to suppress us from voting, I think it's actually ignited a fervor in people to want to do it just that much more. So we want to get out in numbers, in record numbers, and push the vote out.
In fact, the best evidence so far of how the ground war is going is in the early vote, which began a month ago. Despite moves by Republican state officials to limit the days and hours that early voting can take place, moves that Democrats went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to challenge, as of this weekend, almost 2 million Ohioans had voted early. And on Sunday, the line at the one polling location available for all of Franklin County, that line was wrapped several times around this parking lot. As the hours ticked closer to Election Day, both the Romney and the Obama camps were expressing confidence.
I'm calling today as a volunteer on behalf of the Romney campaign.
Republican Senator Rob Portman.
We're winning among independents in 17 of the last 21 polls. We've been winning among independents, average about 10 points. So it's hard to imagine Ohio that you would lose if you're winning by 10 points among independents.
Oftentimes you look at voter registration.
Ohio State Democratic Chairman Chris Redfern.
We have intimate relationships with our voters. We know who they are. We know their voting history. We know what interests them in terms of policies and issues. And for the better part of the last 4 years, we've had this relationship that we've cultivated. So we're quite confident that our program's going to work and has worked.
What is certain is that here at the end, both sides will work for every voter they can find right up until the polls close in Ohio at 7:30 Tuesday night.
And you have a great day. Thank you.